Before we begin, I want to address something from my previous video that some people took issue with. You see, when I started my last video, I wanted to set a good baseline before we ranked all the ships. So I went ahead and took the worst ship I could think of, Sunny and Mari, and then the best ship I could think of, Hiro and Mari, and put them in F rank and S rank respectively. But despite my best efforts, some people still disagreed with that consensus, and it's really hard to make a video like this without setting a ground level agreement. So I went ahead and outdone myself this time. I've come up with a ship that's even worse than Sunny and Mari, and a ship that's even better than Hiro and Mari. Alright, moving forward. Maverick and Aubrey. Lots of y'all are sleeping on this one. Maverick is going through a phase of his life where he is needlessly edgy, and it has a charm now, but later in life, he's just gonna never really grow out of it unless he has some serious intervention. So I think dating Aubrey could be very healthy for him. She'll probably straighten him out, keep him on the straight and narrow. Aubrey is kind of what he aspires to be anyway, and Aubrey could probably learn how to be a little bit more empathetic by taking care of Maverick. So this one's pretty solid. It gets a B. Hiro and Sweetheart. This one never came to fruition in-game, and it's not hard to see why. Sweetheart is absolutely obsessed with herself. She really can't see the forest for the trees. When she sees Hiro, she just kind of sees him as a pretty face that she can, dump her insecurities on. Though there's also the glaring question of, we don't really know how old Sweetheart is. Like, there's a body pillow of her, so I'd imagine she's at least a tiny bit on the older side. So this ship already has a fair amount of problems. The only thing that makes this ship a little bit better is the fact that it's not real. And I don't mean the fact that it's in a video game, I mean the fact that this is all in headspace. Which brings up a really, really interesting question. Why is Sunny imagining his friend with an older woman to cope with his grief? Not sure, and I'm not Sunny's defense attorney, so I'm not interested in exploring that question. It gets an E. Kimbri. This was a requested one in the previous video. They both have that tsundere kind of energy to them where they're abrasive on the outside, but the more you peel back the layers, the more you realize that there's something really sweet at the core. They're pretty good friends. It could probably blossom into something more. The main issue I see is they both fill very similar roles as characters, so it might be hard for them to complement each other's weaknesses, because they're kind of the same. They're a pretty decently cute couple though. It's a B. This one isn't a ship, but I feel like no one's pointed out that these two could make a very dastardly evil duo if they were both in headspace or if they were both in faraway. So it's tragic that they're separated by the bounds of reality. If we're pretending this is an evil duo tier list for a second, I would put them in A. What does this even mean? That's just the same character twice. Like the real world one and the headspace one. Let me go ahead and Google what the heck this is. If this is as bad as I think it is, I'll just do a hard cut to the next part of the video. Rococo and Space Boyfriend. Now, at a surface level, you might just think people are shipping these two because they are both different shades of cool colors, which is very shallow, but as you peel back the layers, you'll discover more, like the fact that they were both burned by Sweetheart, and the fact that their personality types could potentially mesh and cover each other's weak spots. I think Space Boyfriend would welcome this ship with open arms. Rococo has a lot more sophistication going on than Sweetheart ever did. This will probably be the rebound he needs. It's an A. Alright, it's been good, people. High fives all around. Yep, So we just approached the 1 year anniversary of my most popular OMORI video, and I just want to say before I rank this one that it's been an honor to serve you all. Because no matter where I place this, my neck is slated for the guillotine. All I ask is that you remain respectful, because these are, at the end of the day, fictional characters. You can go ham on me in the comments section if you want, but don't be toxic to the other users down there regarding this ship, or any ship really. Sunny and Basil. I was not sold on this one at first, and because there's two main conflicting things inside me. Inside you, there are two wolves, right? So one wolf is telling me that, you are trying to move on. Sunny is trying to move on from the most awful moment of his life, and having any person that vaguely reminds him of that will halt the recovery process, which is bad. But there's also the fact that, on Basil's side of things, he probably doesn't. He's had to cope with the grief of keeping this in just like Sunny did. I think no matter where you sit on this debate, it's hard to imagine a incredibly smooth transition from him just, looking at Sunny the way he did in that final battle towards being not just friends, but partners even. But then again, one of the recurring themes of OMORI seems to be moving on and forgiving yourself, even if it's incredibly hard to do. There's this incredibly smart guy working on the Sunflower mod right now who's been able to articulate really good reasons for why they'd probably be together, but he's not here right now, so I get to just go ham and not worry about the consequences. Another thing I'm torn on is, let's do a hypothetical where, Sunny's your kid or something, and you find out everything that happened with Mari, and you realize that like as he's trying to move forward, he starts dating the person involved with that situation. I can't foresee a parent hearing that and thinking that that's a good idea. That's applying like super real world logic to all this. As a story, if you just want to look at the themes of forgiveness and just characters that are, completing their arcs and doing that, I could totally see Basil and Sunny just, being an item and moving on as young adults from this tragedy that happened. I think that's kind of where I stand on all this, is that as video game characters, as a cohesive story, I think I could see them being together, and that would work decently well within the confines of the story. But if this was a real life situation and a family was trying to move past this tragedy, I can't see Sunny or anyone thinking it's a very good idea to, be tethered to a person that you intimidated into silence for a while. The question is, where do we put it on the tier list now? It's an F. Sunny's parents, no, I'm kidding. It's a B. Sunny's parents, Sunny's mom could do much better. This is pretty goddamn bad. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's an E. All right, look, I know who put this here. Because the thing that makes me mad is I know literally the only reason this got in here is because the ship name was really easy to come up with, Inbred. So, haha, funny, but still, it's an F. Once again, apologies to any Game of Thrones fans.